What is going on? It's your boy Aiden B here, and you are tuned into Across the Waves.
It's your boy John Q, and you already know today I got an opinion.
It's your boy Miles on air, my first podcast, and I'm always on air.
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Slim. Slimothy Neutron.
And we are back with a very, very, very special show, a very, very, very special guest. So today we are here with an international artist whose talent has taken him around the world. From his humble beginnings in Honduras to his first show in DC to now making his way over to Egypt. He's an artist known for turning blank canvases into powerful stories. His journey is one of passion, creativity, and dedication. Please help us welcome Dorian Solbalvarro. Yeah. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, man.
Of course, of course. So let's get straight into the interview. So before we talk about your art, first we want to know the man behind the painting. So tell us a little bit about where you're from and life growing up before art.
Man, I was born in Honduras. I'm an immigrant. I came here when I was 8 years old. So my first language is Spanish. I've always loved art, and it's something that I've always wanted to do since I was a kid. But I never thought that it would be something that I would pursue and that I would pursue professionally. I first started doing art when I was around in elementary school with my dad. We used to have competitions to see who was better at drawing and show my mom and see who was better, but he would always beat me. But unfortunately, he passed away when I was 5 years old, so it kind of connected me with him in a way. And I got better and better over time, and then now I pursue it professionally.
Was there anybody like at the time growing up that like you kind of looked at and was like, okay, their art is kind of good and I kind of want to, follow in their footsteps? Or did you kind of draw inspiration from, paintings with your dad or doing stuff with your dad?
I first found interest in art with my father, but seeing in social media other people have a living off their art and how they created their stuff and how they showed it and how people admire them, I always have a lot of idols and people who I look up to that don't just do art but just do general arts like music and art and anything when it comes to the general arts. One of the people I look up to is to today's world is Devon Rodriguez. He sells he doesn't sell portraits, but he shows portraits to people in New York. He captures the energy of New York. He draws people in the subways and everything, and they get millions of views. And when I first saw those videos, it just inspired me to create something like that, but with my own spin to it, showing the culture of the DMV. And it's always something that I've wanted to do, and now that I'm doing it professionally, I am super grateful that I am here, and now it's taking me here with you guys.
Yep.
So when did you realize you could take it seriously and take it professional? Because everyone wants to draw and do art, but you having the ability to take it to a next level and travel the world, what inspires you to do that?
Art my whole life was more so of just a hobby. I was just always the kid that was good at art. And in art class, people used to ask me to draw stuff for them for their art projects and stuff, and they would pay me to do it. That's how most artists start when they're young, just people validating their talent towards in school or people around them, their family. But when I started finding out that I could take it professionally and people who admired and looked up to it was my senior year of high school, where I posted my first videos on TikTok and Instagram. And my second video I ever posted of me drawing a portrait of one of my friends got 800,000 views overnight. And then after that, I was like, I might be able to take this professionally. And then I started posting more and more and more, and then each one of them had tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of views, and now I'm able to pursue that professionally. So that was when I first found out that I could do it and take it to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I've never really seen the way you create content as an artist. I don't think I've really seen, especially your age and things like that, another artist kind of go into this content world with this artistry and things like that, and I've never seen it. So what you're doing, I wouldn't say pioneer, but you kind of paving the way for, I guess, the younger generation in a way, the way you're making your content. So that's really cool. That's really cool.
A lot of artists, they piggyback off artists from the past generations, which is literally just showing your art and not showing your community or who you are. But I take inspiration from those artists and bridge a gap or a bridge between them which is content creation and fun and showing funny clips, showing people reacting to art, people's reactions, people's love towards the community, and that's something that I've always created my own content. I've never had somebody help me with it.
Right.
Of course, I have friends that help me set up the meetings of all the people and everything. But when it comes to editing and creating everything and drawing, I don't have a manager. I'm self-taught. I'm self-managed, and it's crazy where the world can take you if you just keep grinding and everything.
So like looking at your, Instagram and TikTok pages, you've seen that, you met a few celebrities along the way. So like, kind of tell us about like who you met, where it's taking you.
My first interaction that I had with somebody who is of high profile, I think it was Nino Paid, I believe. I drew a portrait for him, and then I gave it to him at one of his concerts.
We said love you.
Nino Paid, he loved it. He was it's on my page, and then he reposted it and everything, and then he took it home with him. And it's something that is not really done in the DMV a lot, which is somebody, they'll draw a portrait of somebody and just leave it there in their house. Like we'll draw a portrait of, let's say, Beyonce, and then just keep it in your house. I feel like that doesn't connect with anyone. It's just, oh, you're talented. Okay, that's cool. But if you show what impact your art has in the world, that's where you can take it to the next level, and that's how I was able to build traction, just showing people's reaction, because the portrait and the drawing and the talent itself won't take you far in life, because in the art world and the professional art world, talent is not rewarded. Like you'll see a bunch of, I personally like abstract art, but it doesn't take a lot of talent to do it. So it's mostly based on the feelings and how people interact with it and how people value it. So it's not about talent. It's just about how you can bring your community together with your creations.
Do you feel like that separates you from other artists as well?
I don't want to bring myself up too much, but I create my own way of creating art. I don't separate myself from them, because obviously I'm on the same medium and I'm a content creator and I do everything as they do it, but I feel like you always have to put a spin into everything you do. You have to, that's how the greatest stars are created, by putting a spin on what they do. Like most art creators blew up not because they're talented, but because they're able to spin it and show who they are. Or like music artists like J. Cole, Drake, there's people that rapped before them, and many of them who didn't make it, but the way they did it, they stayed true to themselves, and they were able to not only separate themselves, but create a new lane for other artists to look up to.
So, if you don't know, Across the Waves is a show based on faith and built on faith. And I can't help but see this picture right here of Moses. So how has faith impacted your art and where you are now?
Faith, I was born into a Christian family, so I've always been surrounded around a belief system of God and Christianity, and always been devoted towards the Lord. And it's something that I've always done since I was a kid. And I can't help to thank God and the Lord for everything that I've done throughout my life. And that's why I had to give an homage to him. And that's one of the pieces. That's Moses. It's one of the stories that I resonate with the most. And I try to show the power of the scene, as you can see.
Phil Powers.
Yeah.
That's about just clap it up for the Lord.
No, a lot of these paintings definitely have like, a lot of imagery, a lot of power, a lot of messages. So like, what are some of the things that like you want people to take away when they look at, not necessarily these pieces, but like anything you've created when they come to your shows? Like, what do you want them to walk away feeling like, I just went to this show and I feel this? Like, what is that feeling?
Art itself, you can send a message through your art, but you also have to send a message from who you are as a person. I always try to incorporate myself and my story into everything I do, because it shows that anyone can make it. I came from Honduras, which is a country that that doesn't value art as much as here in the United States or other countries. It's more of a country that values power and just, it's just not much artists in Honduras. So I try to show people who I am alongside my art. So I want them to know that anyone can create art as itself. This art, obviously, it comes with talent, but it comes with a lot of time and preparation. Like each piece takes dozens to 40 hours to create. It's a lot of time. But most of the time is spent by yourself with your own thoughts, just creating something. And that's what separates artists and just hobbyists from just going into the art world professionally. It's just the amount of dedication and time and passion you're able to put into something. These pieces, each one of them has a message behind them. So what I want people to take away from my shows or any piece that they buy or look at, it's just the energy and the message behind them. For example, this one is just the power of the Lord, and I want to show the story of Moses, how he believed so much that the Lord gave him the power to split the seas and guide the Israeli people through the Red Sea. Or like this one, which is a homage to or a tribute to all the enslaved people and the slave trade. Or this one, which is a image that my mother took in Honduras, and it's just a palm tree in the island of Roatan, and it's bent in a way that it shows that the wind is hitting it, but it's still standing. It shows that. And but it shows that you can have struggles in life, but you can still stand strong and everything. As you can see, there's a storm in the background. It's around a bad environment, but it's still standing strong. It's bent because, of course, your environment will always change you, but as long as you stay grounded, you'll never.
I know that's right.
You'll never come true. That's what I say.
People wonder why. So that's what I want to get into, like the money side of art, because that's why does a piece cost $300 and all like. Get into how much it costs to make these pieces and the time, and then get into how much you sell it for.
The average established artist's price for a regular piece in any gallery is around 1,000 to as much as a reputation takes them. The pieces that are sold today for the most are like millions of dollars just for one piece, which is obviously it sounds insane until you realize what it is. It's like, for example, a music artist, they pay a lot to make a show. It's the same thing in art. For example, each piece is valued depending on the time it takes, the materials, the artist's reputation, and obviously the message behind it and the quality and the talent of the artist. These pieces are averaged between 1,000 to 10,000. Each one of them is valued between the amount it takes and when it was made and where it's been exhibited. Most of these pieces were exhibited in DC, which was my first show. But art is really, really expensive because, for example, if you spend let's say you spend 100 hours on a single drawing, right? Not only, it's not showing only the drawing, it's showing decades, tens of thousands of hours of preparation, of practice, of built up talent, of compound habits that created that piece. So art is really expensive because of that, and it takes a lot of time and talent to do it. Materials in my medium, it doesn't cost that much because it's paper and pencils. So it's mainly valued on my exhibitions, my talent, who has bought my art and sold it, and my story. So yeah.
I feel that makes it even more, like the fact that you can do this with just a paper.
Because I just knew that there was some black paint in there.
Nah.
I thought it was a photo.
I couldn't imagine.
It doesn't even look like it's.
These two are prints from my originals. These two pieces are in Egypt. The originals, they're as big as those two right there, as these two on the corners. But now they're exhibited in the University of Alexandria, Egypt. So these two are prints of those two originals that now we're in a gallery internationally, which is something I still can't believe. But
So I want to talk a little more about the time that you put into it. Like you said, 40 hours plus. Like, how do you stay, like, what do you do to stay focused that long? Because I could barely focus on a 10-minute YouTube video, let alone 40. I mean, I guess it's your craft, but still, like, how do you stay focused for that long? Do you listen to music? Do you pray? Like, what do you do to stay focused that long?
creating art takes a lot of time, as you said. Regular artists and actual professional artists are separated between the amount of time and practice they put into a piece. Each piece takes about, like you said, 40 to 100 hours. To stay focused, I mostly listen to music, and it's just something that I love to do, and it's like time traveling, basically. Like, I'll start a piece, let's say at 3 p.m., and then all of a sudden it's 12 a.m., and I'm like, where did the time go?
Right.
And I look outside and it's dark, which is crazy. But yeah, it just comes with your passion and everything you're able to do. If you're not passionate about something, you will never be able to spend as much time as it's needed for you to improve and to create something that's meaningful to other people.
So, you know, you do spend a lot of time drawing, but like, is there like, you have like a routine, like you would draw something small every day, or is it just like something like spontaneous where you just like, you have an idea, you just go for it?
A lot of artists like to practice and have practice drawings and have studies of anatomy and details, shading, paintings, and different techniques. They like to practice it. It's basically like a sport where you have to hone every technique to be the best in the game. But me personally, I don't really practice. I just create what I feel in the moment. For example, most of these pieces I just started and finished it, and there was no in between in practice of me creating the piece or something else. For example, a lot of people practice eyes. A lot of people practice form and in pieces.
You practice Moses. That's like that just blows my mind.
But I feel like, me personally, I feel like since I started, I always understood form and the details and everything. Like, I'm self-taught. I never went to school for art, and I'm still not going for school to art. It's really expensive to get educated in art, so I decided not to, because, as you can see, it's something that I've honed naturally. So when I start a piece, of course, it's planning on how it's going to look like and what message it's going to convey and what it means. But I don't practice. A lot of artists do. Me personally, I don't. I'd say if you want to create art, you should practice. Of course, a lot of people are not born with that ability to just create something and then it looks realistic and anatomically right. But me personally, I don't practice.
I mean, and I feel like, practice is good, but your practice is, like you said, creating. Like, when you're just randomly thinking of something, all right, I'm gonna draw it. When you draw it, that is practicing. And then, like you said, some people just have that God-given talent. Like,
Right.
You don't have to do much to create.
Experience. I feel like you put in so many hours and sweat and emotion and detail into your drawings and art that, like, experience trumps skill. Like, someone going to school, I feel like if someone is more experienced in something and has more knowledge and they didn't get a structured, like, curriculum of art, I feel like you're going to be the better artist because you're in it every day. Like, this is your life. You lived it.
And I saw Robert Glasper said something. He was on the red carpet somewhere, and they asked him what the difference between passion and gift is. Like, it was like passion. He was like, you could be passionate about something that you suck at, but a gift is something that you don't have to put much effort into doing. You're just good at it. Like, that's a gift. So you're beyond gifted.
Thank you.
Of course.
No, I wanted to touch on something you mentioned earlier about actually not going to art school. Like, do you think that kind of was like a blessing in disguise in a way? Because obviously you're able to create this amazing art, and like you didn't need to go to art school to do that. So do you think if you went to art school, things would be different? Do you think it would be worse or better? Like, what is your perspective on it?
I personally don't support art schools. Art schools, they try to teach you how to create art a specific way, and that's the only way they see it, art to be created. For example, let's say most teachers are different in how they view art because art is subjective. And for example, me personally, I enjoy abstract realism more than hyperrealism or surrealism or abstract art. Some teachers only focus in one specific area. So for example, let's say you have a realism teacher that is only supportive of realism. They'll force you and grade you based on what they think art is supposed to look like.
Yeah.
When art is just subjective based on the artist and what they view as being art. Me personally, I do surrealistic and hyper-realistic pieces, which is basically just almost realistic, but in a dreamy world, which is not reality, and hyper-realistic pieces as some of these, like this one or this one behind me. But I don't support art school because most art schools, specifically art colleges, they're all private. For example, the biggest art colleges right now, which is SCAD, Savannah College of Arts, MICA, which is the Maryland Institute of Art, they cost upwards to $200,000 to $300,000 tuition, which is crazy for an art degree. Me personally, I don't hate on anyone that went to school for an art degree in an art school, but for the degree that you're getting,
Nope.
it's not worth it because college is.
Unless you giving me a job that I'm gonna make that back in.
I wish I would pay $200,000
For art
to learn how to speak on the radio.
Wait,
or
crazy.
draw.
So if the opportunity presented itself, would you like turn it down, or would you like go to see like what it's like to be at art school?
When I first graduated, I applied to many colleges. Some of them were art colleges, like the two I mentioned, which are the biggest ones in the country. I applied and I got scholarships for both of them. For MICA, I got $150,000 to go in talent and my GPA and everything else. I got $150,000, but you still have to pay another $100,000 to go,
Yeah.
which is crazy because since they're private institutions, they don't give full scholarships because the money's coming from the institution. So I'm very grateful that they valued who I am and they wanted me in their institution. But for the degree that I would get, it's not worth it. You know, like of course you can go to college for art. I don't shame on anyone that does, but in my specific scenario, I didn't think it was worth it. So that's why I'm studying a different field.
Yeah, that's a good point because it allows you, because if you were to go to art school, you feel like, they would be putting you in a box and, not only is allowing you to be creative, allowing you to be free flowing and kind of, do the things that you want to do. So that's a good point. I mean, I feel like that's what the schooling system in general, like putting people in boxes and just not allowing us to,
They program you to believe a certain thing, and that's the end all be all. But I feel like that's what I feel like is an issue with some people. You have to be able to put yourself outside of what you're programmed to think.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, of course, taking the information that you're being taught, but also going in and do your own research. That's why for this generation, a lot of people don't be doing their own research.
No.
They believe anything they see.
On TikTok.
Truck falling off the jet in Sierra Leone, and they don't think that's real. Be like, oh, look.
Like, yeah. I mean, that makes sense,
Oh,
though.
you need to do your own research.
But especially in this generation now that everything is like, you can blow up off of just one video and that can change your life. Now it's kind of like if you have a God-given talent, like he does, like all you need is one post, one interaction on social media. You don't even have to post it yourself. They're gonna end up finding you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's like we're in a generation now where it's like
Funeral start.
getting on to like the general global scale is now so much easier. So thinking about it, sometimes school is now like, do I need it? But I feel like it just depends on who you are. 'Cause
Yeah,
some people may need to go to art school because it's certain things that they haven't seen that could send them here. But it just really depends on who you are. But I got another question. So we kind of talked about school and all that, but like,
in future, like, what do you see for like your art career? Like, how do you see that going?
Right now, for my future, I have two paths that I'm pursuing at the same time. I have my professional education, and then I have my art,
Right.
which is two different paths, which I plan to merge in the future. But for school, I'm going to the University of Maryland for architecture. My whole family goes to the University of Maryland, and it's a great place. Um, they I plan to get a architecture degree and then work at a architecture company or a company like that because it's in my field and it's close to it. But then my art career, I plan to take it to the next level, which is being in the biggest art galleries, being more internationally, being not only in Egypt but in different countries like Barcelona or Paris, like in the Louvre. My dream of mine has always been to be in the Louvre or in the Art Basel or somewhere that people really value art.
Yeah.
That's my angle, and of course, grow more in social media and inspire other people to do the same thing. Because if I didn't see everybody else who posts on social media, like Devon Rodriguez or other influencers, I would not have started my own page and my own influencing journey, which is based on just inspiring other people and just showing my talent to the world.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, everyone that's watching this, they've heard Egypt thrown around all these different times. So let's finally get to how this started. How did you get this opportunity? How, like, just Egypt, like, that's crazy. That's international. That's real international. So, how did that opportunity present itself, and, how do you feel about, being granted that opportunity?
After my first exhibit, which was in DC, which was a blessing, it was a solo art exhibit of my own art. I showed about 15 to 18 pieces of originals of mine, which is insane for an artist of my age. For an artist to have a solo exhibit, they need to not only have the consistent enough pieces of the same quality, they need to have the reputation, they need to have the backing and the sponsors behind a solo exhibition. And for the caliber of the show that I had, it's a dream to come true. A lot of artists dream to have one and never do in their lifetime. They have collaborative shows, which is shows with different people. Like you have, let's say, 5 artists in one show, and they're each showing 5 pieces, and then the show is composed of 20 pieces together.
Yeah.
I had my own solo show because I had a big enough portfolio and consistent enough in quality for me to have one. And then I will forever be grateful towards Ian. He's one of the blessings in my life. I would have never been able to have my solo show without him. He's a great person in the art world. He's been awarded for many artistic things in DC. He's part of the DC Arts Committee. He's a great person, and he's part of a company called Arena Social, Arts Arena Social DC, and they basically have art shows around DC, solo art shows, like high quality art shows, and they sponsored me, which I'm forever grateful for. And after that, one of my old connections, when they saw that, he moved to Egypt a couple months, no, like a year ago, and now he works at the University of Alexandria. And then he showed the exhibit to one of the coordinators and one of the people that are head of the University of Alexandria, and they said that they would love to have my art, and that and they specifically asked for 5 pieces of mine. And that's why I couldn't bring all of my favorite pieces, because of course they're not here anymore.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy how one connection can take you as far as across the ocean, which is crazy.
That shows the importance of knowing people, because
Literally.
knowing that one person got you opportunity in Egypt, like that's crazy to think about.
Your network.
Would you ever consider doing a art show in Honduras?
I would love to, of course.
that would
It's
be-
my
that would be
home
crazy.
country. Like
That would be crazy.
I'd love to have a show in Honduras.
Yeah.
I'd love to give back to the community and inspire kids who it's almost impossible to make it in the art world in Honduras. I'm not saying it's possible, but it's really hard. Another one of my dreams is to be in the National Museum of Art in Honduras, which would be, of course, a milestone, and it would be amazing in not only in my career, but just showing everyone that you can make it in Honduras. But I would love to have a show in Honduras. It would be amazing.
That would be great.
So we already talked about Moses. We talked about this one as well. Can you actually talk a little bit more about this one?
So as we know, it's Black History Month, and I did this, I think, last year, and it's an enslaved, as you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory, but there's an enslaved person, and he's lost all hope, as you can see in his eyes. He's looking down. There's no light in his eye. There's no real life inside him, but he's chained. You know, he has lost all hope, but he still has a dim of light hitting his head, his forehead, which is the mind, and it is where the basis of imagination is created and starts. So I illustrated light hitting him to represent that there's still hope behind enslavement and modern enslavement too, because as like right now we live in an industry where everyone is treated like machines.
Yeah.
Everyone's treated like machines. Everybody has to work. Everybody has to come to work at a specific time and leave at a specific time. We are in modern enslavement, and a lot of people don't realize because we've been conditioned to not retaliate or not question the government or not question the world we live in today, but it was designed for us to stay chained. And that's what I wanted to represent in that piece, but there's still hope. You know, with social media, there's a lot of awareness now being shown in the world, and that's what I wanted to show with the light hitting his face.
And then let's talk about this one. We didn't talk about this one.
So that's Poseidon. Yeah. I like to say it's Poseidon and God. There's two different stories to this piece. The one I like the most personally is that it's God creating its creations, which is the turtle. And the turtle represents beauty and time. As we know, in many religions, turtles are the foundation of the universe. So I wanted to represent God creating time itself and beauty itself. So that's him. As you can see, light, an angelic light is coming down. You know, and we can only look up to God. So that's why I did it from a downward angle. So
That's why these pieces cost $1,000.
It should be
He's
more
gonna
than
give you
$1,000.
a reflection.
What?
most of these are around 1,000 to 9,000.
They all should be $1 million. So, and then this one is currently still being worked on, but I mean, what's already there is.
Yeah, it's a work in progress right now. So I just wanted to show what I've been working on lately, and this is my most recent piece that I'm working on right now. I don't have a name for it yet. I usually name stuff after it's finished.
Right.
So
The details.
yeah, that piece
Bro,
is
you got the baby head.
It's just everything.
it's supposed
Like a
to.
real person.
No, the piercing looks like actually
Yeah,
real.
Pearson is crazy.
Yeah.
And this is original. This is
Yeah, it's an original piece. This is probably the piece that I put in the most planning and effort to create because I want it to be one of my masterpieces. I want it to be one of my pieces that I will always look up to from years on now. I'll be like, wow, like I really did that. But yeah, I have a piece similar to this that is now, of course, in Egypt. But this one is what I wanted to do with the other one because I didn't have much time to create the other one because I had a deadline to exhibit it in my first gallery. So I had to rush it. I had to do everything to get that done. But this one, I'm spending my time with it, and whatever comes out at the end is, I'll know that I will be proud of it. But this piece is supposed to represent empowerment in women, which are suppressed from birth, and in our society, we tend to look at men as above women. But I wanted to show that, of course, women are empowered. She's in the final piece. She's gonna have scars in her arms, and she's gonna have different chains around her. Maybe chains. I'm not sure yet. But it's just gonna show the scars that she has on her to represent her past and how she's been basically silenced by our society, but she still chooses to show her scars and her hair and be confident towards the world. So that's why I chose a model with long hair, and especially a black woman, which have been targeted the most, and specifically here in the United States.
I know that's right.
Yes. So yeah.
Like History Month.
Yep. Long hair represents power, because as you know, a lot of black men and a lot of women, they were forced to cut their hair. In school, they were forced to cut their hair and
Straighten their hair.
yeah, straighten or they were forced to straighten their hair, cut their hair, just not embrace who they are. So hair represents power and one's personality and who they are. That's why I keep my hair long to show people that you can go against the norm. For example, a lot of Latino people, they have the same Cristiano Ronaldo cut. So like I try to be my own self.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to show with this piece, just power and empowerment. That's what hair represents, and that's what I wanted to do. And that's why she has a piercing on her nose, because she can do whatever she wants, and she's a matriarch, and she's a powerful entity.
That's deep.
That's deep. The fact that there's so much detail that you're saying is still out. When I first walked in here and saw it, I thought the joint was already done.
Yeah, I thought it was done.
I thought it was done.
It's like 40% done.
Wow.
40%. Wow.
I put it up just like that.
Nah. What? Nah, I still gotta put more details on the hair, the arms, the body, the face, and everything.
So do you be like going up to women and be like, yeah, I could draw you. Because I'm not gonna lie. Shoot.
Yeah, was this from like an actual like person or just straight off your head, just able to draw?
No, this is one of my friends.
Okay, I was gonna say because I was gonna be like, that's a little scary if he just.
Drawing somebody and not telling them is kind of
Yeah.
But no, most of the people I do, I ask them if I can draw them first, and
Yeah.
most, like 90% of the time, they're like, "Oh yeah, let's do it, of course," because it's an art piece. Like you will be immortalized after you're drawn. Like it's different from taking a picture of somebody. If you take a picture of somebody, it's like, oh, that's cool. Took a picture.
Yeah.
But
But drawing
art,
somebody,
yeah, like,
capturing a moment in time.
you're literally capturing a moment. Yeah, like capturing. You're immortalizing somebody. Like, for example, that's why they do all the presidential paintings every time there's a new elected president. They have been doing it since the creation of the United States. They immortalize each president in a painting. For example, Obama has his own painting. Bill Clinton has his own painting. They all have their own paintings and they're immortalized. And this goes back to the Renaissance era, which is personally my favorite era of art, which was basically just celebrating just detail and meaning and biblical art. And that's where most of my idols were alive and created their most famous masterpieces. And art is just a way to immortalize people, and just it's not only people. Of course, there's portraits, but there's also surrealistic worlds, like this one or that one. But to go back to your question of if I go up to people and just draw them, no, I ask them if I can.
I mean, like.
Either way.
I know what you're trying to say, but
To shoot
I tried to
Yeah, I
keep it.
drew you.
Oh,
Okay.
I keep it professional. I try to just do
that's
that.
the way to do good business.
I mean, I
That's
want
the way
you,
to do
but.
But it's he said but. Yeah, I want to, but. But
Hey, can I draw you real quick? You will walk in.
I mean,
This painting for you.
you gotta keep the speed, bro.
I saw you from a mile away. I just had to draw you.
Somebody has definitely done that.
The Metro.
the Metro, no, they will run away if you did that. They would run away.
That's the creepiest hell.
Yeah, that's
But before we end the show, I would be dead wrong if I wouldn't give credit to the person who helped us get you on the show. Shout out Calvin. Woo! He also helped us with the questions. He does, that's your boy, your brother.
That's my man.
Or not. But he gave me this one question that I decided to make the question of the season. And that question is, what does support mean to you?
Support of my environment and my people around me.
Support in general.
It means the world. I'm gonna start with people that are not close to me, like people online that just see my work, and then I'm gonna transition into people that are close to me, like of course Calvin and my parents and all my friends. So people that just see my work online and are inspired by it, and they leave comments of inspiration, and they support my journey, and they look up to who I am. I still struggle with understanding why people do, because of course, like in my own head, I'm just somebody who just creates art and just puts it out in the world and just lets it do its own thing, and it turns out that people love it. But all those people, it means the world. That's why I keep going, to inspire others and create an environment for people to believe in themselves. In my story, I wasn't born with any connections. I wasn't born with money. I wasn't born with the privilege to being born in this country. But if you're talented enough, you don't even need talent. You just need practice, dedication, and passion, and just the ability to connect with people. It's always something that you have to practice over and over with compound actions. I've gotten to the spot that I am today because of those people that look up to me and that have always supported my journey since I started posting online. And I will always be grateful towards everyone, every single person that has supported me and gone through my journey. And then when it comes to people close to me, I will always be grateful for them as well too, because it's rare for somebody to say this, especially in social media, and just somebody who is actively trying to become a star. It's very rare for somebody to not receive any hate ever since they started. Most rappers, most artists, most everything, they received a lot of backlash. For example, the biggest artist in the world right now, Bad Bunny, when he first came out, everyone didn't approve of him. He started with a genre of his own. Everyone hated him. Everyone didn't want to listen to his music. They called it noise pollution, which is crazy.
Noise pollution.
Yes.
I know some people that be noise polluted.
The DMV scene, no offense. No offense.
You're gonna call me baby, but
Oh yeah, that young boy, all that stuff.
I don't know about that, but yeah. We can get into music later, but it's really rare for somebody to be supported by every single person. And of course, it might not say it to your face, but me personally, I haven't received any haters ever, which is a blessing. I always love reading love comments and people supporting and realizing and enjoying the journey.
Yeah.
So it's always a pleasure that hasn't happened, and that's a signal that you have what it takes to become more than you think you could be. But going back to my family and my friends, it's always been, I always keep a close place in my heart with them. For example, Calvin, he's one of my greatest friends ever. He's a great person, and I will always be grateful for him for being part of my life. And it's someone that has built me to the person that I am today. Without him, I wouldn't be here. Not only because he connected you guys with me, but because I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't be speaking like this. I wouldn't be as fluent as I am with communication. I wouldn't be I would be a whole different person. I don't think I would be doing this either. He always believed in me. My other friends like Don, Osman, Ebobe, all those people, my close friends, I will always keep a close place in my heart, and I hope they think the same about me. But that's where I keep them. And then that's where I keep everyone.
We're talking about the same Calvin, right?
yeah.
Maybe you need to do a marching season, right?
I know he's a troll. I know he can be hard sometimes. He's a hard-headed and annoying, but he's a great person.
Ooh, you got a head full of steel.
But then when it comes to my family, I'll always be grateful for them. My mom, she's a very hardworking woman. She's a single mother. She's been working hard since she since she had all of us, me and my siblings, she's a hardworking woman, and I will always be grateful towards my mom, and it's someone that I will always keep close to my heart. Or my sister, she had to grow up early because she was the oldest child, and she had to start working since she was young. She had to help pay for the bills because we weren't a stable family financially when we first came here. So my family and my sister and my grandma and everyone, I will always be grateful for them for being able to raise me in a place like Bowie, which is one of the higher quality places of where you can be raised. And we were originally supposed to live in Hyattsville. Yeah, we moved to Florida. We moved to Hyattsville. Here, we were supposed to move to Baltimore at some point.
Oh, you good.
Yeah, you good right here. You good right here. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, I'm. A lot of people don't like Bowie, but that's because they look at it from an inside perspective. They don't expand their minds and they don't look outside of the place. They say it's boring, but it's a great place to grow up. You know, like you grow up being.
Yeah, boring is safe.
Boring is safe. You know, when you grow older, you can of course expand your view and go to different places.
Yeah.
But I personally am very grateful that I was born here. I mean, I was raised here.
Yeah.
I went to high school here. Of course, it's great. But I think I would be a completely different person in a different environment. Because Bowie and all the person around me. Oh, I forgot about my teachers. Oh my God, they're so great. It's Miss Stiff. I love her. She was my algebra teacher for 3 years straight. You know, I will always be grateful for her. All my family, they've always supported my passion, and they've always believed in me since they didn't even know I was gonna be doing what I am doing today.
Yeah.
Miss Stiff, I remember one time, this was my first day of class. I think I was a sophomore. I just drew a random tree on my math homework because I would always draw on my homework. So when she saw it, she caught it up and then just put it on her wall. And I think she still has it to this day. In her classroom, she basically has a gallery of my art that I've just made for her. She's obsessed with Beyonce. So I I have a bunch of portraits of Beyonce and of her family and just random drawings that she's collected over time. And I'm just very grateful for her. My other teachers, like my art teachers, they've always believed in me. And it's cultivating, like a plant can grow in a good environment. I'm grateful enough and blessed enough to be raised in a great environment like Bowie or Maryland itself. So I'm very grateful for everyone, my family, my friends, and of course my following and everyone who's joined the journey.
We're grateful that you took the time out of a busy schedule to come and see about little across the waves. So again, man, I mean, keep grinding, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, clearly,
Clearly he's doing
something right. You're doing something right. So again, thank you so much for coming on Across the Waves. I'm Aiden B.
John Q.
I was on there.
Slim.
And I am Dorian Solbalvarro.
Yeah.